A very good afternoon to all the viewers out at cadred.org. We're doing kind of a bit of a follow-up interview on the interview that we did at iSeries, which is with the same two guys from Anexis. We've got Rattlesnake and we've got Release. And back then they won the event, and they really thought it could have provided a sort of platform for them to do well at Copenhagen Games. And now you've dropped out, I think it's 9-12. I'm not entirely sure. So let's just begin with the beginning. As you said, a platform that you could bring into this tournament. How much of that platform remained after a week of not having a tournament, basically?
Well, I don't know really. I suppose, yeah, initially it gave us a platform. You know, we had a title under our belt. You know, didn't really help us. Like, we didn't put that much practice in between the week of that LAN and now. But I don't know. The event started off like quite well. I felt kind of comfortable, but it was very sketchy. Like the whole thing was just way too sketchy, and it just showed against some of the better teams really there.
Just like the iSeries event, it was like a platform, I guess, but we expected to win that event, and then we did. But coming into this, we knew it'd be like much harder. Yeah, it's not really an excuse that we haven't practiced, and it's something we're going to try and work on in the future. But I think at the next few events we'll be a bit more prepared, and like our aims are going to be a bit better, because I just think like particularly like today and like even yesterday against Lemon Dogs, we just sort of, knowing our own standards, we know we sort of underperformed at this event, and we kind of, I mean, I'm personally quite disappointed with how we played, and I think everyone would agree like in the future we're going to probably have a few stronger sort of results than we've had over this event.
Yeah, I think really if people looked at our lineup, I know people are going to say it's a different game, but to be honest, I don't think we're a 9th to 12th sort of team. You know, I think everyone, maybe not so much the 1.6 community, but I know a lot of the Source community know what sort of players we are, and I think that we just had a really bad start to CSGO with this particular team.
So that makes me think, listening to your answers, was it more of a surprise, like the level that the other teams are at, or is it definitely you underperforming? Because I know that online it was quite sketchy as well. I think you were saying like you were just getting beat so silly you wouldn't even make it to the second half. Was that different at LAN? So did you perform better in that respect, or was it just them as well, like just being one step up?
I think on LAN we were definitely improved a lot compared to our online play. I think everyone could agree with that spectated us in some of our online games. Again though, our online play was so abysmal that any form of improvement has to be 1,000-fold in order to even, I know some of the even weaker teams here, we wouldn't have even been able to compete with them. So yeah, and like the top team, like all the top teams are the top teams, but it just felt at this event that whoever put more time in was the people that have come out on top. And in Source, it was more like you could put time in, but we've had so much experience in it. It wasn't really about the time. It was just about just doing it, just getting down and doing it. Whereas this, it's like you can get down and do it, but you've not put enough time in, so you don't know all the ins and outs of half the things about the game. So
I'd probably like add on to that, just like for any 1.6 player and Source player, you've been playing the game for like 3, 4, 5 years, so you kind of know everything that's happening, and you're less focusing on like your aim and things like that. But because it's a new game, when we haven't been able to play as much as we wanted to, I don't think aim-wise we were anywhere near the level that we expected ourselves to be at. So we sort of came into the event, gone over like the basic strats and stuff, and expected to aim a lot better than we have, and it kind of let us down like on a lot of occasions. Not just the aim, but sort of the team play between the players, and our sort of positioning on a lot of like the CT halves was quite predictable. So it's just more, I think the more we play together, we're going to get a lot better and like be able to provide like more consistent results, and like as a team improve on that.
So the two losses that you had were against Mouse Sports and Lemon Dogs. Like those were the losses that eventually knocked you out. And those are actually both teams that had roster changes recently. So they're not really that much of an established team. And when we were discussing how you were the art of dethroning NIP, how you were planning on doing that, you say the errors that you made were mainly because of the relatively new formation of the team. And then what seems inconsistent is that you lose to teams that are also like relatively newly formed. So was the nature of your mistakes, were they different at this LAN compared to what they were at iSeries, or were they not?
I think you're sort of misguided in what you've said of newly formed teams when Mousebots have been boot camping for like the last week, and they've been a team for like over a month, and it's like we formed the team like about a month or more ago, but I think people like don't seem to understand that we haven't actually practiced together. So there's a bit of a difference between like Lemon Dogs. They've all played together now for like quite a long time. Those same set of players have played together consistently, so they have like the basics together. Whereas like we've sort of come together with this team and we haven't actually been able to practice to like the amount that we want to. Whereas like Mousesports have like a 7-day boot camp. After iSeries, Dan had another like 2 assignments to hand in, and we haven't practiced. I think we practiced 1 day for like 2 PCWs because we had to finish it off, and he didn't sleep for like 2 days before this event. So it didn't really. It's kind of different saying like these teams haven't like been a team for that long when literally our preparation has been pretty disastrous. Okay. But I know people will say it's an excuse, and it's not an excuse. It's just that I know in the future I hope people can see that like we're going to be able to improve on how we're playing now. So quite rightly, I think we're quite a poor side right now, but I know we've got a lot of improvements that we know exactly what we need to do to make sure we're better.
So let's talk about the errors then that eventually would lose you the game. Was it the same kind of error, like miscommunications, the teamwork that was mainly the issue, or was it something completely different?
I just think it was generally our entire game. We had rounds of brilliance, and then we had 80% rounds of absolute shocking, disappointing play, because we're all there, we all have knowledge of the concepts of CS and what needs to happen. If someone dies here, then someone's got to rotate into the position in order to cover it, and someone's got to be giving out comms for that now player he's covering. And it was just like, how it felt in our game was that like obviously you're focused because you're out of land, but there was no feel of that. There was no feel that we were into the game and constantly talking, and everyone was having the same like sort of mindset. It felt like some of us had like different mindsets to others. So
we had like the expectation basically that someone else would come and cover a position and it would be covered, and then like it wasn't, and then a guy would sneak up behind us, get like 1 or 2 kills that were kind of crucial to the round. And it was all rounds like that where like we had an expectation from everyone to be doing a certain thing, and then they weren't doing it. So it's kind of like a communication failure and sort of team play together that kind of messes us up on rounds, I think.
Pretty much lack of practice. I hate saying it because now it opens up all the comments like, oh, you always say that. Well, you know what, it happened again. So you know, it just was. That's just how it happened. And you know, I know that for the next couple of events, like pretty much all summer as well, like we will be practice, and I just hope people carry on watching us, and well, yeah, hope carry on watching us really, yeah.
All right. One of the final questions that we've been asking everyone here is actually the showing that Navi did, because it was quite unprecedented. I mean, you've been around for a long time, you've played a lot of events too, and I don't think you've ever seen anything like this, just one of the major sides just walking out like that. What do you make of it? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Or do you not care at all? What's your opinion?
Well, I've never ever experienced that before. That's never happened at an event I've been at. I don't know the full story, but from what I can tell was that Navi were told, whether or not they were told by someone that to come an hour later. Again, not much like source behind that, but that's just what I've heard. And they turned up the hour late, got defaulted to 3 points. But then, if it's in the rules and it's affected the outcome of the group, which it did, then I can understand the decision of reversing it.
I don't really want to comment on it because it's nothing to do with us really. I mean, if the admin said to sort of be, it's going to be an hour later, and then the admin said that to them and then they come an hour later, it's the admin's fault. But it all comes down to speculation really. We don't really know what's been said to who and what's really happened. So.
Doesn't it kind of influence you then that he tweeted afterwards like everyone should boycott the event, there shouldn't be any press that should cover it anymore because the tournament is a joke? Like that would affect you as well. No one, imagine if it would have happened, like Anexis wouldn't have gotten any pugging from this event either. So is that something that you care about, or same answer?
I don't think it really impacts on the tournament that they've decided to walk home. All that's happened is they've not managed to compete in the tournament anymore, and everyone else has really just carried on like normal, so it hasn't really impacted the tournament, to be honest. They've kind of done themselves a disfavour really by just giving up on it. They should have just carried and played it out, and then they could have made like a statement afterwards just saying like how poorly it was run, and I think the community would have responded to that a lot better than just saying like we're going to quit the event just because of how it's been run. There's been plenty of tournaments over the years that have been run poorly, and you haven't really seen too many teams decide to just literally pull out of the event, really.
I guess that kind of covered everything that we wanted to talk about. Want to give you the option to tell to all your fans what you're going to be competing in next, where they can follow you, and obviously plug your sponsors and all that, so go ahead.
Well, we're going to be at the next event. It'll be Heaven Media next weekend. And I'd just like to say thank you to like Razor and Thick and Liquors for supporting us for this event, and hopefully everyone can start supporting our team Anexis, and we'll try and do better results in the future.
I want to thank you for the time that you took. Obviously really tired, especially you, because I don't think you've slept the last 2 weeks.
Not really, no.
So, and to all the viewers out there at cadre.org, as the tournament is starting to wind to a close, we're starting to get all the big interviews, so do stay tuned to cadre.org for all the latest interviews here from Copenhagen Games 2013.